With a swipe of his pen, President Trump ends family separations on the border, but his zero-tolerance policy remains in place. Welcome to News 8 at 5. I'm Cynthia Izaguirre.
I'm John McKay. The president's surprise decision to change course comes on the eve of a House vote that's on Thursday to address the immigration problem.
So we're going to have strong, very strong borders, but we're going to keep the families together. I didn't like the sight or the feeling of families being separated. There's a problem that's gone on for many years, as you know, through many administrations.
That executive order allows migrant families to remain in detention together as they await hearings. But the zero-tolerance policy of prosecuting everyone who tries to cross the border illegally, well, that will continue. Now, this decision is just a few hours old. So far, it's unclear what happens next.
Thousands of children remain in detention centers on the border, and that is sparking protests nationwide tonight. David Goins is live at Representative Pete Sessions' office, where a crowd started gathering there at about 4:30. A large group of people behind you there, David.
Yeah, there's still a lot of confusion out here, Izzy, with what exactly happens now with this immigration bill, or this situation with immigration, whether or not Congress will, whether or not Congress will actually move forward and have these votes tomorrow in D.C. now that the main driver for those votes, family separation, was ended by President Trump. That is what brought this large crowd out here in North Dallas. We're outside Congressman Pete Sessions' office, and that's where this demonstration of largely Democrats are putting pressure on Congress to take further action this week. Meanwhile, those organizing opposition say even with this executive order, no real change of course. Two large faith groups and elected leaders held separate briefings in Dallas today. County Judge Clay Jenkins at 1 this morning said even with the executive order to end these family separations in place, the need for shelter space has not waned. So Dallas County is continuing to scout locations for potential shelters for likely older unaccompanied minors. Think about teenagers. Now, former state rep Domingo Garcia said he is also heading to the border with faith leaders to try and tour 3 of the detention centers holding minors, including one that is holding the youngest of children.
Requested to go to Combs, Texas, which we understand has babies there, diapers have been changed, and we're asking to get admission to that facility. So far, we have not gotten permission. We just got news that Martin Luther King III is going to be joining our group, and so we're hoping that that moral authority will allow them to allow us to visit those children.
Now, Garcia says his group will attempt to visit 2 other facilities if that does not work out. The group that is gathered here, again, are Democrats who are certainly energized by the District 32 race, which longtime incumbent Republican Pete Sessions faces re-election in November. It is unclear tonight if Congress will actually touch immigration now with the president's decision to end family separation, but Congress could take a vote on immigration bill that would include protections for so-called dreamers, those children who came to the U.S. Undocumented when they were children. Live in North Dallas, David Goins, Channel 8 News.
All right, David, thank you so much.